Samsaradavam Nalalidaloka Tranaya Karuna Gana Ganatvam Samsaradavam Nalalidaloka Tranaya Karuna Gana Ganatvam Praptasya Kalyana Gurnanavasya Vande Guru Shri Charana Vrindam Praptasya Kalyana Gurnanavasya Vande Guru Shri Charana Vrindam 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 Vande Guru Shri Charana Mahaprabhu ki Tananita Gita Vaditramadhyam Manasura Sena Romanchakampasru Taranga Bhajo Vande Guru Shri Charana Ravindam Romanchakampasru Taranga Bhajo Vande Guru Shri Vigrahara Tana Nityanana Shingaratanama Niramajanado Shri Dana Nityanana Juktasya Bhaktamsya Niyonjatopi Vande Guru Shri Charana Ravindam Juktasya Chaturvidha Shri Bhagavat Prasado Satvana Truptam Hari Bhakta Sangam Chaturvidha Shri Bhagavat Prasado Satvana Truptam Kridvaiva Trupti Vajato Shadeva Vande Guru Shri Charana Vrindam Shiradhikama Tabayara Para Madhura Lila Gunarupanam Pratikshana Tanalupasya Vande Guru Shri Charana Vrindam Vande Guru Shri Nikunja Yuno Ratikeli Siddhai Jayali Bhir Yukti Apekshaniya Nikunja Yuno Ratikeli Siddhai Jayali Bhir Yukti Tatra Tidakya Atibalavasya Vande Guru Shri Charana Vrindam Tatra Tidakya Patiravasa Sakshat Haritvena Samasta Shastrin Rukta Tathava Vyataiva Sadhavim Shastrin Kintu Prabhurja Priya Tasya Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Kintu Prabhuja Yasya Prasada Bhagavat Prasada Yasya Prasadam Nagati Kutapi Yasya Prasada Bhagavat Prasada Yasya Prasada Nagati Kutapi Jayam Stubham Tasya Yasatri Sandhyam Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Jayam Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Vande Gurashi Charanara Vrindam Vande Guru Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanandine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunavadi Pachatadesha Tarine Shunavadi Pachata Desata Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Nityananda Oh Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Gadadhar Shivasari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Ora Bhaktavi Inna Jaya Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hariyaraya Namah, Krishna Jadavaya Namah, Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah, Gopal Govindaram Srimadhusudan, Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan, Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita, Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita, Shri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raguna, Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raguna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Jai Gaura Pramananda. Jai Vishwapara Paramahansa Prabhajakacharya Suttara Sarasi Srimad, His Divine Grace, Abhacharavina Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Pratishta Bhiviti Samstapakacharya, Vaishnava Shramani Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Ji Maharaj Ki Jai, Shri Gauriya Guru Vargapati Tudhar Ki Jai, Shri Rupa Sanatana Bhatta Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Guna Sadgoswami Prabhu Ki Jai, नामाचार्य शैल हरिदास ठाकुर जी की जय, अनंत कुछ वैष्णववृंद की जय, प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार शिवासारी गौर भक्तवृंद की जय, जय परम दयाल से नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय, प्रेम नाम संकीर्तन के जनाक प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम श्री सच्चिनंदन श्रीमन गौरंग चैतन्य महाप्रभु गौर हरि महावृणाय अवतार की जय, गोलोकेर प्रमदान हरिनाम संकीर्तन जय की जय, जुग धर्म हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय, बृहद निदांग ट्रांसलेट बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सेवा की जय, शिष्य राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपना राधा कुंज श्याम कुंज गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय, श्री ब्रजबिम वृंदावन मथुर धाम की जय, जलोशिव शिष्य राधा नीला माधव की जय, श्री मयपूर्ण नवद्वीप एक चक्रधाम की जय, परम करुण शिष्य गौर निताय की जय, श्री पुरुषोत्तम चित्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, श्री जगन्नाथ स्वामी बलदेव प्रभु सुभद्रा देवी सुदर्शन चक्र भगवान की जय, जगंगा माय जमुना माय की जय, तुलसी महारानी वृंद देवी भक्ति देवी की जय, श्री मथुरा रानी की जय, समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर हरि प्रेमानंद. All glories to the assembly bodies, all glories to the assembly bodies, all glories to the assembly bodies, all glories, all glories, all glories. Shri Shri Guru Shri Gauranga.
Namaste Narasimhaya Praladadadadaine Hiranyakashipurvakshaha Shilatanka
Jai Shri Shri Bhakti Parasavina Shanakani Shingani Bhagavan ki jai Bhakta Shrestha Prahlad Maharaj ki jai Nitai Gaudari Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Shri Vrindai Tulasi Devai Priyaye Krishna Satya Krishna Vandi Pare Krishna Bhakta Vrindai Tulasi Devai Priyaye Krishna Satya Krishna Vandi Pare Krishna Bhakta Vrindayai Tulasi Devai Priyayai Sarvasatya Vishnu Bhakti Pradane Sattvamataya Srimati Tulasi Maharani Vrindadevi ki jai.
Namo Namaha Tulasi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namaha
Tulasi Krishna Preyasi
Radha Krishna Seva Pavo दीन कृष्ण दास कोई ये न मोरा होय श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा ये न बासी श्री राधा गोविंद प्रेमे सदा ये न बासी यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे यानि कानि च पापानि ब्रह्महत्यादिकानि च तानि तानि प्रणश्यन्ति प्रदक्षिणा पदे पदे Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani. Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Vrinda Devi. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Vrinda Devi Tulsi Maharani ki jai.
Jai. Shri Vrindajai Tulasi Devaki Samasatya Vishnu Bhakti Pradini Satavataye. Srimati Tulasi Maharani Vrindadevi ki Jai. Oh Tulasi, beloved Krishna, I bow before you again and again. My desire to obtain the service of Shri Radha and Krishna. Whoever takes shelter of you as wishes fulfilled, bestow your mercy upon him, you make him resident of Vrindavan. My desire is that you also give me a residence in pleasure groves of Sri Vrindavan. Thus within my vision, I will always behold beautiful pastimes of Radha and Krishna. I beg you to make me a follower Kami themselves of Raj. Please give me the privilege of personal service and make me your own servant. This very fallen and lowly servant of Krishna praise. May I always swing in love, Shri Radha and Govind, Shri Mati Tulasi Maharani Vrindadevi ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shri Krishna ki Jai. Chaito Darpanama Pranam Bhagavada Shri Akaya Chanika Taranam Vidya Vadurvimanam Anandam Viradhanam Patiparam Purnam Ritasharanam Smasmara Param Nam Nama Kari Baudha Yasava Shakti Tatrapita Niyamita Swami Makava Esadu Sitava Vaya Bhagavanati Durdhai Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shri Krishna ki Jai. Om Hare Krishna. Glory to the Shri Krishna Sankirtana, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it sprays the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It equages the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings. And thus you have hundreds of millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There is no even hard and fast rule for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names. But I'm so unfortunate I have no attraction for them. Once you chant the holy name of the Lord in humble state of mind, thinking oneself a lord and strolling in the street, one should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige. They should be ready to offer respect to others. In such state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, Nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your cause of devotional service, birth after birth. O son of Maharajananda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet some or other I'm fallen in this ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. O my Lord, or will my eyes, sorry, will choke up. I will as my body stand on the end of the recitation of your name. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I feel all vacant. In the world, in your absence, I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he should remain so, even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, but he's always my worshipful Lord, unconditionally. The item offenses in matter of chanting holy name of the Lord that must be avoided, they are as follows. One, blasphemy. Two, just the names of the demigods, the Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma. Independent of the Lord Krishna. Three,
Disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Blaspheme the Vedic literature, the literature in pursuance, Vedic version. Consider the glory of chanting Hare Krishna as an imagination.
six, to give some
Some interpretation of the holy name of the Lord.
seven, commit sinful
Activities on the strength of chanting the holy name of the Lord.
Eight,
Consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities
which
which are
offer
offered
the
in the
Vedas
Vedas,
as fruit
fruit
of
of activities or
karma
karma
kanda.
conduct,
Nine,
to instruct the faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
and ten.
Do not have complete faith in chanting the holy names, and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions in this matter.
It
It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee claims to be Vaishnava must carefully guard against these 10 offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success, Krishna Prema.
Now let
Now
us
let's
talk
talk
for
about
us with
the
more
verses
verses
of
of
the
the
Vaishnava
Vaishnava
to the Lord. They are just like desired trees that can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they're full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripasindrivyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Today we're going to read from the Chaitanya Charitamrita. It is Nityananda appearance, and so we want to hear about him, Krishna's brother, Balaram. And we'll begin on the Madhya Lila, chapter 1, verse number 24. Nityananda Gosanire Pataila Goda Desa Tenho Goda Desa Basala Prema Rasa. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent Nityananda Prabhu from Jagannath Puri to Bengal, which is known as Goda Desha. Lord Nityananda Prabhu offered over-flooded that country with the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Sri Nityananda Prabhu is by nature very much inspired in rendering transcendental loving service to Lord Krishna. Now, being ordered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he distributed this loving service anywhere and everywhere. I offer innumerable obeisances unto the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who was so kind that he spread the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. Second. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama Rama. Yeah. This is Madhya Lila chapter 1, starting from verse 24. Madhya Lila chapter 1, verse 24. Oh. Okay. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Guruvani Pacharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Paskatya Desatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Dvaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so Sri Nityananda Prabhu is by nature very much inspired in rendering transcendental loving service to Lord Krishna. Now, being ordered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he distributed this loving service anywhere and everywhere. I offer innumerable obeisance unto the lotus feet of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who was so kind that he spread the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to address Nityananda Prabhu as his elder brother, whereas Nityananda Prabhu addressed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his Lord. Although Nityananda is none other than Balarama himself, he nonetheless always thinks of himself as the eternal servant of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Nityananda requested everyone to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, chant his glories, and utter his name. Nityananda Prabhu claimed that person to be his life and soul, who rendered devotional service unto Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this way, Srila Nityananda Prabhu introduced the cult of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to everyone without discrimination. Even though the people were fallen souls and blasphemers, they were delivered by this process. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then sent, Lord Chaitanya sent Nityananda. He told him, look, you're coming every year to Jagannath Puri to see Lord Jagannath. That's very good. But I have a mission. And I want to give you the responsibility to not come to Jagannath Puri, but stay in Bengal and spread this message to everyone in Bengal. And of course, Nityananda Prabhu did that. Okay, then we go to Madhya Lila, 2nd chapter. Madhya Lila, 16th chapter. 16th chapter, verse 64. Sixteenth chapter, verse 64. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then told Nityananda Prabhu, please hear me, O holy man. I now request something of you. Kindly grant my request. Do not come to Jagannath Puri every year, but stay in Bengal and fulfill my desire. The mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to spread the only medicine effective in this fallen age of Kali, the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, following the orders of his mother. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was residing at Jagannath Puri, and the devotees were coming to see him from Bengal. However, the Lord felt that this message must be spread very elaborately in Bengal, and in his absence, there was not a second person capable of doing it. Consequently, the Lord requested Nityananda Prabhu to stay there and broadcast the message of Krishna consciousness. The Lord also entrusted a similar preaching responsibility to Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami. Nityananda Prabhu was requested not to come every year to Jagannath Puri. Although seeing Lord Jagannath greatly benefits everyone, does this mean that the Lord was refusing Nityananda a fortunate opportunity? No. One who is a faithful servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must execute his order, even if one has to sacrifice going to Jagannath Puri to see Lord Jagannatha there. In other words, it is a greater fortune to carry out Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's order than to satisfy one's senses by seeing Lord Jagannatha. Preaching Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's cult throughout the world is more important than staying in Vrindavana or Jagannath Puri for one's own personal satisfaction. Spreading Krishna consciousness is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission. Therefore, his sincere devotees must carry out his desire. Prativite achayata nagar adigrama sarvatma prachara haibe muranama. The devotees of Lord Chaitanya must preach Krishna consciousness in every village and town in the world. That will satisfy the Lord. It is not that one should act whimsically for his own personal satisfaction. This order comes down through the parampara system, and the spiritual master presents these orders to the disciple so that he can spread the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is the duty of every disciple to carry out the order of the bona fide spiritual master and spread Lord Chaitanya's message all over the world. Well, we're very fortunate to hear this. If you want to please Lord Chaitanya, who is non-different than Lord Krishna, who says exactly the same thing as Lord Chaitanya's instruction to Lord Nityananda, and that is, Ya idam paramam guyam mad bhakti svavidasyati bhaktim maya kritam bhaktim maya param kritva mam evaistasya samsayam nachatasman manusye su kaschit me priyakutama bhavita nachame tasmat anya priyataro bhuvi. For one who explains this supreme secret, meaning Bhagavad Gita, to the devotees, pure devotional service is guaranteed, and at the end, he will come back to me. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Generally, it is advised that Bhagavad Gita be discussed amongst devotees only. For those who are not devotees will understand neither Krishna nor Bhagavad Gita. Those who do not accept Krishna as he is, and Bhagavad Gita as it is, should not try to explain Bhagavad Gita whimsically and become offenders. Bhagavad Gita should be explained to persons who are ready to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is a subject matter for the devotees only, and not for philosophical speculators. Anyone, however, who tries sincerely to present Bhagavad Gita as it is will advance in devotional activities and reach the pure devotional state of life. As a result of such pure devotion, he is sure to go back home, back to Godhead. And then, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he who explains the supreme secret, Bhagavad Gita, to the devotees. Why does it say it's a supreme secret? Because 9th chapter, 2nd verse, it says, Raja Vidya Raja Guyam. This is the king of all knowledge and is the most secret of all secrets. Pavitam idam uttamam. And it's completely pure, has no tinge of ignorance. And Pavitam idam uttamam. But yakshavagam dharmam, it gives direct perception of who you are in relationship to Krishna and to the material world and to all living entities. Susukam kartamavyan, and it makes you happy. It's full of bliss, and it's unending. Avyayam, The bliss is unending. So, Lord Chaitanya is saying exactly the same thing as Lord Krishna because he is Lord Krishna. And then it says, he says to Nityananda Prabhu, he says, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, you can perform a task that even I cannot do, but for you, I cannot find anyone in Goda Desa who can fulfill my mission there. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. And believe me, it's very hard to preach in Bengal. It's hard to preach anywhere in India now, but very hard in Bengal because there's so much hodgepodge nonsense there. The Bengalis are very good at nonsense. They have very sharp, I mean, the educated ones have very sharp intelligence. But Prabhupada was the greatest of them all. And he has spread, like Lord Nityananda, Krishna consciousness in Bengal and everywhere. Lord Chaitanya's mission is to deliver the fallen souls of this age. In this age of Kali, practically 100% of the population is fallen. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu certainly delivered many fallen souls, but his disciples mainly came from the upper classes. For example, he delivered Srila Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and many others who were socially elevated but fallen from the spiritual point of view. Srila Rupa and Sanatana Goswamis were situated in government service, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was the topmost scholar of India. Similarly, Prakasananda Saraswati was a leader of many thousands of Mayavadi sannyasis. It was Srila Nityananda Prabhu, however, who delivered persons like Jagai and Madai. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya says, Amara duskara karma toma haite haye. Jagai and Madai were delivered solely by Nityananda Prabhu's mercy. When they injured Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Chaitanya became angry and decided to kill them with his Sudarshana Chakra. But Nityananda Prabhu saved them from the Lord's wrath and delivered them. In the incarnation of Gaura Nitai, the Lord is not supposed to kill demons, but is supposed to deliver them by preaching Krishna consciousness. In the case of Jagai and Madai, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so angry that he would have immediately killed them. But Nityananda Prabhu was so kind that he not only saved them from death, but elevated them to the transcendental position. Thus, what was not possible for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was carried out by Nityananda Prabhu. Similarly, if one is true to Gaura Nitai's service in the disciplic succession, he or she can even excel Nityananda Prabhu's service. This is the process of disciplic succession. Nityananda Prabhu delivered Jagai Madai, but a servant of Nityananda Prabhu, by his grace, meaning Nityananda's grace, can deliver many thousands of Jagais and Madais. That is the special benediction of the disciplic succession. One who is situated in the disciplic succession can be understood by the result of his activities. This is always true as far as the activities of the Lord and his devotees are concerned. Therefore, Lord Shiva says, Radhananam sarvesam Vishnu Radhanam param. Then, tasmat parataram devi tadyanam samachara. Of all types of worship, worship of Lord Vishnu is best, and better than the worship of Lord Vishnu is the worship of his devotee, the Vaishnava. This is Padma Purana. By the grace of Vishnu, a Vaishnava can render better service than Vishnu. That is the special prerogative of a Vaishnava. The Lord actually wants to see his servants work more gloriously than himself. For instance, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Shri Krishna provoked Arjuna to fight because all the warriors on the battlefield were to die by Krishna's plan. Krishna himself did not want to take credit. Rather, he wanted Arjuna to take credit. Therefore, he asked him to fight and win fame. Tasmat tvam utista yasya labasva. Chitva satrun bunksava rajyam samridnam. Mayavate nihata purvam eva nimittamatram bhavasabhya sachin. Therefore, get up. He's speaking to Arjuna in this verse from Bhagavad Gita 11:33. Therefore, get up. Prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Sabya Sachin, can be but an instrument in the fight. Bhagavad Gita 11:33. Therefore, get up. That's what we should say every day to ourselves. Get up. Right. In the morning, as soon as you get up, you should beat your head with an old shoe. And at night, you should be so tired that immediately you close your eyes and go to sleep, because you did so much service all day long. Prabhupada says that. Thus, the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives credit to a devotee who performs any heavy task perfectly. Hanumanji or Vajran Gaji, the servant of Lord Ramachandra, serves as another example. It was Hanumanji who jumped over the sea in one leap and reached the shore of Lanka from the shore of Bharatavarsa. When Lord Ramachandra chose to go there, he paved the way with stones, although by his will the stones were able to float on the sea. If we simply follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instructions and follow in the footsteps of Sri Nityananda Prabhu, this Krishna consciousness movement can advance, and even more difficult tasks can be performed by the preachers remaining faithful to the service of the Lord. Lord Nityananda ki jai. Nityananda Prabhu replied, O Lord, you are the life, and I am the body. There's no difference between the body and the life itself, but life is more important than the body. By your inconceivable energy, you can do whatever you like, and whatever you make me do, I do without restriction. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Actually, I want to say something else here. Just 1 second. Let's see. 1 second. So, in Bhagavad Gita, 18th chapter, verse number 71, it says, the Lord explicitly forbade the Gita's being spoken to those who are envious of the Lord. In other words, Bhagavad Gita is for the devotees only. We just read that also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. But it so happens that sometimes a devotee of the Lord will hold open class. And in that class, not all the students are expected to be devotees. Why do such persons hold open class? It is explained here that although not everyone is a devotee, still there are many men or women who are not envious of Krishna. They have faith in him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If such persons hear from a bona fide devotee about the Lord, the result is that they become at once free from all sinful reactions, and after that attain to the planetary system where all righteous persons are situated. Therefore, simply by hearing Bhagavad Gita, even a person who does not try to be a pure devotee attains the result of righteous activities. Thus, a pure devotee of the Lord gives everyone a chance to become free from all sinful reactions and to become a devotee of the Lord. Amen. And Prabhupada is always consistent. He doesn't say one thing in one place and something different somewhere else. Although he's written hundreds and thousands of pages, but it's always consistent. So now it says, as stated in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adhikavaya. Lord Brahma is the first living creature within this universe, and he is also the creator of this universe. How is it possible? Although he is the first living entity, Lord Brahma is not in the category of Vishnu Tattva. Rather, he is part of the Jiva Tattva. Nonetheless, by the grace of the Lord, who instructed him through the heart, Tene Brahma Hridaya, Lord Brahma could create a huge universe. Those who are actually pure devotees of the Lord are instructed by the Lord through the heart, where the Lord is always situated. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hridde Se Rajuna Tistati. Bhagavad Gita 1861. If the devotee follows the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the living entity, even though an insignificant creature, can perform the most difficult tasks by the Lord's grace. Lord Krishna confirms this in the Bhagavad Gita 10:10. Tesam satata yuktanam bhajatam pritipurvakam dadami buddhiyogam tam yenamam upayanti te. To those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Everything is possible for a pure devotee because he acts under the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Through his inconceivable energy, a pure devotee can perform tasks that are supposed to be very, very difficult. He can perform tasks not even previously performed by the Lord himself. Therefore, Nityananda Prabhu told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ye karaha se kari nahika niyama. I do not know by what regulative principle I am carrying out this wonderful work, but I know for certain that I will do whatever you desire. This is Nityananda. By the way, Jesus Christ said a very similar thing on the Mount of Gethsemane to God, his Father. Very similar. Although the Lord wants to give all credit to his devotee, the devotee himself never takes credit, for he acts only under the Lord's direction. Very important point. Consequently, all credit goes to the Lord. This is the nature of the relationship between the Lord and his devotee. The Lord wants to give all credit to his servant, but the servant does not take any credit, for he knows that everything is carried out by the Lord. Haribol. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraced Nityananda Prabhu and bade him farewell. He then bade farewell to all the other devotees. Amazing. It's Madhya Lila, chapter 16, beginning from verse 64. And now we go to Madhya Lila, chapter Antya Lila 6, 104. Antya Lila 6, 104. Prabhupada was coming to the United States for the first time. He was reading Chaitanya Charitamrita for solace and inspiration and ecstasy. So, Antya Lila, chapter 6, verse 101. Nityananda Prabhu rested for the day, and when the day ended, he went to the temple of Raghava Pandita and began congregational chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Lord Nityananda first influenced all the devotees to dance, and finally he himself began dancing, thus inundating the entire world in ecstatic love. I was present several times when Prabhupada danced in ecstasy. And The devotees completely went berserk. They were in ecstasy. And Prabhupada was jumping up and down like a deer. And everyone was jumping up and down. They couldn't stop. It was a wonderful experience. I think at least 3 times I experienced that. At least 3 times. Lord Nityananda Prabhu first influenced all the devotees to dance, and finally, he himself began dancing, thus inundating the entire world in ecstatic love. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was observing the dancing of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda Prabhu could see this, but the others could not. In other words, Lord Chaitanya was not physically there, but he appeared there because of the ecstatic kirtan and the ecstatic dancing of the devotees. The dancing of Lord Nityananda, that's why Prabhupada said dancing is scientific. There's 3 scientific things: chanting, dancing, and feasting. Don't take them as ordinary activities. They're all highly transcendental activities, and we should understand that, and we should be enthusiastic. There's nothing worse than to see during kirtan a devotee who's not dancing. That means they don't have any enthusiasm. But when all the devotees dance in ecstasy and chant the holy name, and then later on take prasadam together, it's a transcendental experience. The dancing of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, like the dancing of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, cannot be compared to anything within these 3 worlds. No one can properly describe the sweetness of Lord Nityananda's dancing. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally comes to see it. After the dancing and after Lord Nityananda had rested, Raghava Pandita submitted his request that the Lord take supper. Lord Nityananda Prabhu sat down for supper with his personal associates and made a sitting place on his right side for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there and sat down at his place. Seeing this, Raghava Pandita felt increasing happiness. Raghava Pandita brought the prasadam before the 2 brothers and thereafter distributed prasadam to all other Vaishnavas. So you see, it's chanting, dancing, and feasting, prasadam, yeah. This is our yoga process. The others are meditation, frustration, and puking, right? And our process is chanting, dancing, and feasting. There's a big difference between meditation, frustration, and puking, right? There were varieties of cakes, sweet rice, and fine cooked rice that surpassed the taste of nectar. There were also varieties of vegetables. The food prepared and offered to the deity by Raghava Pandita was like the essence of nectar. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there again and again to eat such prasadam. In other words, he was coming regularly to his house. Why? Because it was made with love and devotion and offered with affection and love to Lord Krishna. When Raghava Pandita offered the food to the deity after cooking, he would make a separate offering to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yeah, if you go to Calcutta Temple, you'll see Radha, Krishna, and right next to them, you'll see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the side of Krishna. So that's a very special thing, you know, a way of worshiping Radha and Krishna with the presence of Lord Chaitanya. Every day, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would eat at the house of Raghava Pandita. Sometimes he would give Raghava Pandita the opportunity to see him. In other words, he's coming in a mysterious way. He's not physically present there, but he comes every day and takes the prasadam because they make a plate for him. And sometimes he lets them see him, and sometimes he doesn't. Therefore, we should never doubt that when the devotees are chanting Hare Krishna ecstatically and dancing ecstatically, the Lord comes. Prabhupada comes. Prabhupada is here anyway, and it's a deity, but he also comes. Narada Muni comes. The Devas come to see it. And then when the devotees sit down, and instead of talking nonsense, they seriously respect prasadam. And usually the Vaishnavas in the time of Lord Chaitanya, every time they would take a morsel of food, they'd say, Hare Krishna. So it sounded like everyone was chanting japa during prasadam, not talking nonsense, right? We should do that. There's a lot of things we should do. Like, for example, we want to start a welcoming committee. Anyone that walks into the temple, there should be a welcoming committee that greets them like a member of the family. Hello, how are you? My name is so-and-so. What is your name? Oh, we're so happy you came. And your child came. What's your child's name? Oh, his name is Raghu. Oh, Raghu, here's a gift for you, a children's book. And for you, we have a cookbook for your wife, and we have calendar for your husband, and if you want, I can walk around with you in the temple and show you everything, explain who the deities are, and give you an orientation so that you're not in any way in the dark about what we're doing. We have to do this. We have to do it. And also, once you connect with these people in that way, you can also invite them to your house for prasadam. And hearing Bhagavad Gita and seeing your family, how everybody in the family is Krishna conscious. You see, that's called preaching. We don't say, you want to take this book, it only costs $10 and it's really interesting and you can take it, right? Take it. Why don't you take it, huh? Take it. You know what that does to a person that comes the first time? Some people, yes, they take it, that's for sure. But most people, they feel as if you're pressuring them. But if you treat them like family, then later on, they'll want to take the book. They'll ask you for the book. And they'll give more than the price of the book, believe me. We need to make this welcoming committee. Before, we've had welcoming committees, and by the way, they're trying to force them to take Discover Yourself course the first day. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. But if you treat them like family, they'll say, hey, we were treated so nice in this temple, I think we'll come back again. And they gave nice prasadam. And that's why prasadam has to be first class. Has to be first class, cooked in ghee. And fresh vegetables, and everything first class rice, first class dal, and not too spicy. If they want more spice, we should have a bottle or a container of red pepper. They can put as much as they want on it. Right. But, just imagine their kids have to eat it also. If it's too spicy, the kids will take one bite and say, I can't eat it, it's too spicy. So we have to have something that's all-inclusive. And we have to think, there's some people who want it spicy, so we should have fresh ginger, and we should have, what do you call it? Michi, red michi powder. Okay. We have to think, like if you go into Whole Foods, after you get some food that's been cooked, and then to go sit down, they have a spice bar that's free. And you have salt and pepper, of course, but then you have different condiments, pickles, and other things, right? So it's like it's called the culture of opulence. That's what it's called. I've written a paper on the culture of opulence. I don't know, did I give that to you, probably? The culture of opulence?
You talked about the different cultures of...
No, okay, I have to give it to you. It's a whole paper about the culture of opulence. It's very important that we understand it. When they come to the temple, they're seeing the culture of opulence when they see the deities. But they have to see it everywhere in the temple. Generosity, affection, opulence. So they say, I'm coming back here. They treated me really good. At one time, there was this Muslim man who went to a steam bath. So when he entered the steam bath, it was the first time there, so nobody knew him. So they gave him an old soap that had some hair on it. They gave him a towel that had been already used. And he went, when he asked for cold water in the steam room, they didn't come. So when he finished, and was going out, he gave him a big tip. They were shocked. They said, oh my God, we didn't know who this guy was. So the next time he came, they gave him brand new soap, a brand new towel, special slippers. Also, the first time he gave him slippers that had holes in it, right? This time, brand new slippers, and whatever he asked for, even juice, they brought it to him in the steam room, right? And they gave him a massage, etc. So when he came out, he gave him 2 paisa. And they were looking at it. And they said, wait a minute. He said, the first time you came, we treated you like crap. You gave us a big donation. How come you're not doing it this time? He said, well, this is for the first time. And the first time was for the second time. So, yeah. If you're going to welcome people, it has to be with affection, warmth, opulence, and friendship. They should feel as if they're coming back to see their family, right? So we have to do that. We have to have, and it's not to get them to take the, discovery course or to sign them up for this thing or that thing. The second, third, fourth, fifth time, then they'll want to do it voluntarily. So, but the idea is they want to come back. See, if you force them the first time, some people say, I'm not going back there. They were too pushy. But if you're nice to them, and especially to their kids, you have to give the kids free books, 3 children's books. We should have on the table calendars, books for the kids, some cookbook for the mother, and even some Mahaprasadam, nicely, and goodness cookie, right? It should all be there on the table, and give them one thing. And after this, they say, "Wow, well, how are we going to carry this?" And you have a nice bag. So here's the bag, and on the bag it should be, "Welcome to the Vedic Cultural Center, Hare Krishna." Everything should be first class. The more we give, the more we'll receive by Krishna's mercy. But that's not why we're giving. Whether they give something back or not, it doesn't matter. We should be givers, not takers. In the San Francisco Rath Yatra, I used to go every year and cook the whole feast, stay up 1 or 2 nights all night long. And one time for Prabhupada's centennial, the mayor of San Francisco came. His name is Willie Brown, and he is brown. And we had a nice Vyasasana Prabhupada, and Prabhupada's Murti was there. And when Willie Brown went up on the stage, the president of the temple, Jagannath Swami, said, Mr. Brown, this is our guru, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So he went right up to the Vyasasana and looked at it for about 3 minutes. And he didn't take his eye, he hardly blinked. And we were all a little bit surprised. Why is he doing that? And then he turned around and we asked him, Mr. Brown, would you like to say something to all the people? He said, yeah. He said, but I never met anyone like that before. And so the way he said it, we understood that he thought Prabhupada is actually there in the flesh. And we didn't say anything right away. He said, I've never seen a man like that before. He looked right into my eyes. He understood who I am. He went through a whole little speech. He's a very good speaker, by the way. He also became the Speaker of the House of Representatives or Senate in the state of California. He was very prominent. And his girlfriend was Kamala Harris. Anyway, at one point, we could realize that, he was convinced that Prabhupada was there in the flesh. So we gently told him, actually, Mr. Brown, we said, that's not the real body of the spiritual master. That's a facsimile of him. He said, oh, no, that's not possible. He'll look him right in the eye. He said, well, it's possible. It's possible that for you, he'd manifested himself in the flesh. He said, no, I know for sure. Nobody looks at me like that. So we didn't say anything after that. So you see, when he spoke, he said, today I'm going to make a confession. He said, all my life, I've been a taker. But you all Hare Krishnas, you all are givers. Wow, that was the best thing he could have said. And it was a fact, because he saw us distributing prasadam to about 5,000 people. Okay. So people should see us as givers, not takers. This is the way to preach Krishna consciousness. And why should we worry about giving? Krishna is the richest person in the world, in the whole, all the universes, in the spiritual world, everywhere. So if we are giving Mahaprasadam, giving gifts, that's a sign of love. Dadati pratigrinanti. You give and receive gifts, right? It's a sign of love. So we should be givers. Okay, so then Raghava Pandit would bring and distribute prasadam to the two brothers, feeding them with great attention. They ate everything, and therefore there were no remnants left. He brought so many presentations that no one could know them perfectly. Indeed, it was a fact that the Supreme Mother, Radharani, personally cooked in the house of Raghava Pandit. Radharani herself came to his house and cooked the food, the prasadam, for the Lord. Srimati Radharani received from Durvasa Muni the benediction that whatever she cooked would be sweeter than nectar. That is the special feature of her cooking. Aromatic and pleasing to see, the food was the essence of all sweetness. Thus the two brothers, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda Prabhu, ate it with great satisfaction. All the devotees present requested Raghunath Dasa to sit down and take prasadam, but Raghava Pandita told them he will take prasadam later. All the devotees took prasadam, filling themselves to the brim. Thereafter, chanting the holy name of Hari, they stood up and washed their hands and mouths. After eating, the two brothers, meaning Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, washed their hands and mouths. Then Raghava Pandit brought flower garlands and sandalwood pulp and decorated them. Raghava Pandit offered them betel nuts and worshipped their lotus feet. He also distributed betel nuts, flower garlands, and sandalwood pulp to the devotees. There's another pastime where Lord Chaitanya eats betel nut and gets sick. So therefore, it's a sign that even though people offer it to us, we should not accept it. Even though you see that he's distributing, because the way they make the pan today is full of artificial ingredients, and it's enough to get you sick, make you lose your teeth, and eventually get cancer. Because they want to make it so cheap that everyone will buy it, and therefore they use the cheapest and usually contaminated chemicals. So India is a great place for cheating. Raghava Pandita, being very merciful toward Raghunath Dasa, offered him the dishes with the remnants of food left by the two brothers. He said, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has eaten this food. If you take his remnants, you will be released from the bondage of your family. The Supreme Personality of Godhead always resides either in the heart or in the home of a devotee. This fact is sometimes hidden and sometimes manifest, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is fully independent. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is all-pervasive, and therefore he resides everywhere. Anyone who doubts this will be annihilated. Okay, in the morning, after taking his bath in the Ganges, Nityananda Prabhu sat down with his associates beneath the same tree under which he had previously sat. Raghunath Das went there and worshipped Lord Nityananda's lotus feet. Through Raghava Pandita, he submitted his desire. I am the lowest of men, the most sinful, fallen, and condemned. Nevertheless, I desire to attain shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like a dwarf, so he's saying this to Lord Nityananda. Why? Because Nityananda is the quintessential original guru. See? Like a dwarf who wants to catch the moon, I have tried my best many times, but I have never been successful. Every time I tried to go away and give up my home relationships, my father and mother unfortunately kept me bound. No one can attain the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without your mercy. So he's talking to Nityananda. Right? But if you are merciful, even the lowest of men can attain shelter at his, meaning Lord Chaitanya's, lotus feet. Although I am unfit and greatly afraid to submit this plea, I nevertheless request you, sir, to be especially merciful toward me by granting me shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Placing your feet on my head, give me the benediction that I may achieve the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without difficulty. I pray for this benediction. After hearing this appeal by Raghunatha Dasa, Lord Nityananda Prabhu smiled and told all the devotees, Raghunatha Dasa's standard of material happiness is equal to that of Indra, the king of heaven. Because of the mercy bestowed upon him by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Raghunatha Dasa, although situated in such material happiness, does not like it at all. Therefore, let every one of you be merciful toward him and give him the benediction that he may very soon attain shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One who experiences the fragrance, and this is Nityananda Prabhu speaking, one who experiences the fragrance of the lotus feet of the Lord Krishna does not value even the standard of happiness available in Brahmaloka, the topmost planet. And what to speak of heavenly happiness? Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is offered sublime poetic prayers by those trying to attain his favor. Thus, he is known as Uttama Sloka. Being very eager to gain the association of Lord Krishna, King Bharata, although in the prime of youth, gave up his very attractive wife, affectionate children, most beloved friends, and opulent kingdom, exactly as one gives up stool after excreting it. This verse is from Srimad Bhagavatam 5:14-43. Okay, can they keep quiet back there in the altar? They're having a big discussion. This is called competition. Being assured of this, return to your home. Very soon, without impediments, you will attain shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Nityananda had Raghunatha Dasa blessed by all the devotees, and Raghunatha Dasa offered his respects to their lotus feet. After taking leave of Lord Nityananda Prabhu and then all the other Vaishnavas, Sri Raghunatha Dasa consulted secretly with Raghava Pandita. After consulting with Raghava Pandita, he secretly delivered 100 gold coins and about 7 tolas of gold into the hand of Nityananda Prabhu's treasurer. Raghunath Dasa admonished the treasurer, "Do not speak about this to Lord Nityananda Prabhu now, but when he returns home, kindly inform him about this presentation." Thereupon, Raghava Pandita took Raghunath Dasa to his home. After inducing him to see the deity, he gave Raghunath Dasa a garland and sandalwood pulp. He gave Raghunath Dasa a large quantity of prasadam to eat on his way home. Then Raghunath Dasa again spoke to Raghava Pandit. "I want to give some money," he said, "just to worship the lotus feet of all the great devotees, servants, and subservants of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. As you think fit, give 20, 15, 12, 10, or 5 coins to each of them." Raghunath Dasa drew up an account of the amount to be given and submitted it to Raghava Pandita, who then made up a list showing how much money was to be paid to each and every devotee. With great humility, Raghunatha Dasa placed 100 gold coins and about 2 tolas of gold before Raghava Pandita for all the other devotees. So it not only gives to Lord Chaitanya, he gives enough for all the devotees. After taking dust from the feet of Raghava Pandita, Raghunatha Dasa returned to his home, feeling greatly obligated to Lord Nityananda Prabhu because of having received his merciful benediction. From that day on, he did not go into the interior section of the house. Instead, he would sleep on the Durga Mandapa, the place where Mother Durga was worshipped, outside in the open. It's in the courtyard. Okay, so we'll stop there. And I don't know if we have time for the next couple ones, so we can read them tonight. Haribol. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Are there any questions? Okay, about homework. You did homework? Okay, come, tell us what the homework was and read what you wrote. Go ahead.
The homework was explain Shraddha. What is faith? From the verse Bhagavad Gita 439 and Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela 22:62. So from Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Speak louder.
Yeah. From Chaitanya Charitamrita, the verse Shraddha sabde viswasa kahe Shraddha nischaya Krishna bhakti kaile sarva karma kritahaya. Translation is, Shraddha is confident, firm faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. Such faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service.
Read slower.
Sorry.
You're slurring your words a little bit. Read
So
slower.
that's the translation. Now the explanation.
No, but we want to hear the translation also.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Slowly.
Okay. So the translation is, Shraddha is
No,
confident.
read the verse first, slowly.
Read the verse?
Oh, yeah, you read a verse, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Shraddha.
No, don't. Just the English.
English?
Yeah.
The word translation. Yes, that's the one I'm reading. Shraddha is confident, firm faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. Such faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service. Homework explain Shraddha. What is Shraddha? Shraddha, or faith, is a firm conviction which develops by hearing from those who know the truth or are self-realized. For example, just like Rukmani Devi, she developed a firm faith and attachment for Krishna just by hearing about him. Also, another example is King Prataparudra. A few days back, while you were narrating the pastimes of King Prataparudra, developed intense desire to meet the Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and to have the divine association of Mahaprabhu with his associate. By hearing the glories of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, King Prataparudra developed firm determination, Dridhavrita, of seeing the Lord. King Prataparudra was deeply devoted and wanted to see the moon-like face of Mahaprabhu to his eyes' full satisfaction and placed the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu upon his heart. So, and from the verse explaining 439, Bhagavad Gita, explaining, faith is attained by the process of chanting the holy name, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which cleanses one's heart of all material dirt or contamination. One who controls his senses and simply acts in Krishna consciousness and faithfully thinks and remembers Krishna by chanting with firm faith, one becomes pure and attains love of Krishna. This is the sublime process explained in the verse by Srila Prabhupada 439.
Good.
So that was just in my own words I wrote the explain. I didn't read the verse 439.
Okay.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Yes, thank
Anybody else?
you. And Prabhu, the pastime for King Prataparudra, I have few more details on that. Can I say with your permission? Can I repeat?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. King Prataparudra desired to meet Mahaprabhu with Dridhavrita, with firmly determination, was greatly devoted. He was ready to become a mendicant and leave the kingdom for the Lord. He was deeply devoted. King Prataparudra prayed and begged for the mercy from Ramanand Rai, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and begged for prayers from all the devotees so he could get a little mercy from the Lord, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Gauranga Mahaprabhu had denied to see him or meet the King Prataparudra and said, if I associate with the king, then villagers and everyone will think that I am a puppet of a king. And a sense enjoyer, being a sannyasi, I'm associating with an opulences of a king. Then Ramanand Rai, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and many devotees who were very dear to the Lord and were associated of Mahaprabhu prayed and requested. They had come with a petition to please meet the king and accept him as your devotee. King Prataparudra, he is deeply devoted and wants to see your moon-like face to his eyes' full satisfaction and place your lotus feet upon his heart. At last, Lord Nityananda Prabhu requested to Mahaprabhu, after many prayers and appeal from the devotees, from all the devotees, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed the mercy upon King Prataparudra, and the king was very happy. Hare Krishna.
Haribol. Thank you. Lord Nityananda Ki Jai. So homework for tomorrow is look up Antya-lila 3.6.101. Antya-lila 3.6. Oh no, we did that. Look up Madhya-lila 24th chapter, verse 340. 24th chapter, verse, let me see. Verse 340. So let's see where that is. 24th chapter, verse 340. And the question is to answer. Oh, okay. Well, today is Ekadasi, so you have to look up in the Hari Bhakti Vilasa book by Srila Sanatana Goswami, How to Follow Ekadasi. Because in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it says that you should refrain from grains. But if you look on ISKCON's webpage or other web pages, it says, you can't have spinach, you can't have honey, you can't have so many things. It's like a long list of things you can't have. So your homework is to look up the Hari Bhakti Vilasa and see what Sanatana Goswami says about how to follow Ekadasi. And there's different levels of following it. There's different levels. I think there's 3 or 4 levels of following it. So that's your homework. Because today is... Oh, yesterday was Ekadasi, yeah. Today's... there's fasting today till noon. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Oh, of course, Prabhupada Ki Jai. What? Is it tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Oh.
It's the Ekadashi.
Okay.